All right, guys, so we got to talk about some good news, I guess, for Trump, which is that his Facebook and Instagram accounts are going to be reinstated in coming weeks, according to Meta, which is the company, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram. Apparently, the oversight board decided that, Trump's suspension, his indefinite suspension, should actually have a defined length of time, and they're actually going to let him back on the platform.
So you are ending the suspension of former President Trump on Facebook and Instagram. Why are you doing that now? And explain what's behind it.
So he was suspended for 2 years from using Facebook and Instagram, and that 2-year clock expires now this month. And so we're confirming that if he wants to, he can, in the coming weeks, he can use Facebook and Instagram again. Of course, there are guardrails, there are rules. He's got to play by the rules, and we're announcing some additional ones today to encourage him to stick to the rules that exist when people use Facebook and Instagram. At the end of the day, we believe the American people should hear from, including on our apps and services, from those who want to lead them. And he's a former president of this country, vying to be a candidate for the next presidential elections. And we don't really want to, all other things be equal, stand in the way. So we think it's right to let the 2-year suspension now expire. It's up to him and his team. If he wants to use Facebook and Instagram, he's now free to do so.
Yeah. So apparently Meta is letting Trump back on the platform. Now, his Facebook page is up. Maybe it's been up for a while, right? Who knows? But yeah, they couldn't keep Trump banned knowing that the guy is running for president. Okay, he's a former president. He shouldn't have been banned in the first place. But now that he's declared that he's running again in 2024, essentially Facebook would be participating in election interference by not letting him on the platform. Okay, so they really didn't have a choice. Okay, or else, again, they will be accused of blatant election interference, which I'm pretty sure they don't want to be accused of that. So they're letting him back on the platform, and nobody should be surprised that this has sent the mainstream liberal media and the Democrats into an absolute state of panic. But before I roll that clip, we have to have a word from the sponsor of this video, Noble Gold. Noble Gold Investments is pleased to let you know that gold is the best investment class for 2022. According to longtermtrends.net, gold has actually outperformed the S&P 500, Dow, and Bitcoin for 2022. So what are you waiting for? Open a gold IRA or silver IRA with Noble Gold Investments this month and receive a free 1/4 ounce American Gold Eagle coin with every qualified IRA purchase or rollover of $50,000. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold Investments and their thousands of 5-star reviews. So call the team now at 877-646-5347. That is 877-646-5347, or visit Noble Gold today at noblegoldinvestments.com. But just remember, there's always a risk of investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind.
So how worried are you that he's been given his platform again, the place where he called for his supporters more or less to storm the United States Capitol and try to upend our democracy?
Very. George, whom I admire his work, he says it's mystifying. I don't think it's all that mystifying, if I may, right? Facebook needs money. Trump needs relevance. I think it's a devil's bargain here. And I think that ultimately Facebook will be making a deal with the devil, and probably the check's going to bounce because it never actually works out. I think the marketplace of ideas has to adjudicate, debate, do we want a Trumpian autocracy, or do we want a constitutional democracy that, for all its imperfections, has produced a country that most of us want to defend? And that is a debate that has to unfold in the country. The better angels of our nature have won 2 elections in a row, 2020 and 2022, which was supposed to be a terrible blowout against President Biden. It wasn't. That said, if you're one of these companies, do you want to be the means by which an autocrat mounts an assault on the Constitution itself? And that's, I mean, maybe they do.
They've already run that experiment. Right. They saw how it worked out.
So the question, I think, it's a moral question. There are financial incentives, I guess there are relevance incentives and all that, but it's a moral question. Yep. Do you want this constitutional democracy to unfold, or do you want it to fall apart? And it's I hate it when people say it's just that simple. It's not simple, but it's straightforward, right? I mean, that's the question. And we don't have, as George says, there's no mystery here. He's done it all in front of us, on camera, right? I keep waiting for there to be like something secret. You know, he said it, you know, you got to fight like hell. You know, he puts pressure on Pence. Let's remember, Mike Pence stood between us and the abyss. And I'm glad he did, but it's a reminder of how fragile this is.
I think Facebook's decision to reinstate Donald Trump is inexplicable. It represents, in my view, a total caving in and copping out. The only motive I can see is a profit motive here. If you look at what Donald Trump has been posting on his own social media platform, all of that violates Facebook's policies. He's continuing to give aid and comfort to those who committed acts of insurrection. He's continuing to spread the big lie. And the idea that somehow he would not do that on Facebook when he's doing it on his own platform, to me, is a tragic decision by a company that is putting its profit above the public interest.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Mainstream liberal media in a panic over Trump being allowed to freely speak on social media platforms, right? Him being allowed to fairly, market himself, advertise himself for president like every other presidential candidate can do on these big tech platforms. Again, these are the people that claim they're trying to save democracy, right? Again, it's just incredible. These people are so self-righteous, okay? They think that they're more important than they actually are. And they're trying to shame these social media platforms for doing the right thing, for allowing a former president back on the platform so that he could fairly run for president in 2024. And you already hear the smears. You're saying that, well, they're responsible for overthrowing democracy if Trump gets elected again, right? That's going to be the argument, right? That's what they're going to say. They're going to say, oh, they're responsible for overthrowing democracy. Okay, they're going to blame big tech. Okay, if Trump becomes president again, they're going to lose it on big tech. Okay, they're going to lose their minds. And again, you have Democrats like Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell as well too, melting down over Trump being let back on Facebook and Instagram, which is not a surprise because Adam Schiff tries to pressure these tech platforms into censoring people that he doesn't like, right? Which, in my opinion, is unconstitutional. Okay, so again, you have Democrats in mainstream liberal media openly advocating for censorship, right? More censorship of a former president of the United States. It's really shameful. And it looks like their worst nightmare could actually come true here as reports, and again, this is Rolling Stone, so take it with a grain of salt here. Reports are suggesting that Trump basically is going to try to get back on Facebook and Twitter, which is something that I basically said that he's going to have to do if he actually really wants to be president again. He can't really do both at the same time, okay? He can't run True Social and market True Social to the fullest extent and also maximize his chance of becoming president at the same time, just simply because of the fact that on Facebook and Twitter, he has a much larger and bigger audience, okay? And his secret weapon during his 2015-2016 campaign was his Twitter account, right? Don't get me wrong. True Social, he's put effort into that, but it's not the same as Twitter. It's not the same as Facebook. It doesn't have the same reach. It doesn't have the same impact when he puts out and posts updates and information. So let's read a little bit about this because, again, it looks like Trump may be returning to Twitter/Facebook sooner rather than later. In the months ahead of what's likely to be a brutal Republican presidential primary, Donald Trump and his 2024 campaign are laying the groundwork for his big, bombastic return to major social media platforms. Such a return, though, would inevitably involve Trump screwing over one of his own companies, and he's been telling confidence that he's prepared to do just that. When Trump first founded Trump Media and Technology Group, he agreed to a, quote, social media exclusivity term that required him to first channel any and all social media communications to his Truth Social account for 6 hours before posting the content to other platforms, according to SEC filings. So here's the thing. Trump hasn't really even done that yet, right? He's been reinstated back on Twitter, and he hasn't used it at all. He's been saying that he's going to stay on Truth. That's what he's been saying publicly. However, there are reports that, he's looking to change things, which, again, my argument is that if he really wants to be president again, he's going to have to, okay? So let's read more here. Since late last year, former President Trump has informed several people close to him that he doesn't want to re-up the exclusivity agreement with his social media company, Truth Social. Two sources familiar with the matter tell Rolling Stone, quote, "There's not going to be a need for that," is how one of the sources recalls Trump describing his soon-to-expire contractual obligation. The 18th-month term of that requirement is up in June, right as the Republican primary is expected to begin heating up. After that, Trump's exclusivity term would automatically renew for a 6-month period unless notice is given. In the event his exclusivity term expires, Trump would still be required to post contemporaneously to Truth Social. So that means that he would have to post to Truth Social and Facebook at the same time, right? And Twitter. He had to post all that stuff all at the same time on Truth Social. He said there's an expiration date and that he didn't want to make commitments, the other source said. Asked whether Trump planned to continue to make Truth Social his exclusive social media home, a company representative directed Rolling Stone to a recent appearance by TMTG CEO Devin Nunes on Newsmax, where the former California congressman said Trump has no interest in going back to Twitter. Others, of course, disagree. One person close to Trump who has spoken to the ex-president recently about Twitter tells Rolling Stone on Sunday there is no way Nunes' statement is true. Well, I mean, there's really no other statement that he can make, right? There's nothing that he can really say outside of that, Trump doesn't intend to go back to Twitter, okay? If I was the CEO of that company, you got shareholders that have stake in the company. Yeah, you can't really say anything outside of that, right? Regardless of what happens with his exclusivity term, Trump's agreement with the company grants him greater freedom in campaigning for his upcoming 2024 run. His recent agreement exempts posts as long as the content specifically relates to political messaging, political fundraising, or get out the vote efforts, according to the SEC filings. Yeah, so in a nutshell, Trump's going to have to decide whether or not he cares more about his company or does he care about being president of the United States again. Right, that's what it's going to come down to. And in a situation like this, it's unfortunate because I don't think he could have foreseen Twitter and Facebook letting him back on the platform. He especially could not have foreseen Elon Musk, who basically kind of got this all started, buying Twitter and letting Trump back on the platform. But if Trump does, start posting on the other platforms again, he's going to take away basically all of the proposition or value proposition that Truth Social has for people, which is that Trump's on the platform is also less, censored on Truth Social. But Twitter has become a lot better in regards to censorship as well, even though Twitter still has issues and problems. I think that the value proposition of Truth Social has severely diminished, and it will be all but gone if Trump actually does decide to start posting on other platforms again. However, I don't think he has a choice if he wants to be president. I think, again, 2015, 2016, his secret weapon, the thing that helped him the most was his Twitter, was his Facebook, was his social media accounts. And he would be severely castrating himself, from a certain perspective by not tweeting or getting back on Facebook again. But who knows? We'll see what happens. Maybe he won't need those platforms, once the presidential primary season really kicks up and, the mainstream media will be covering him 24/7. Maybe he won't need it, right? And that could be the reason why he's waiting, because he can technically post as long as he, waits 6 hours. He can technically post on Twitter and Facebook and these other platforms, after he posted Truth Social first. However, he hasn't even been doing that. Okay, which suggests to me that he's probably in wait and see mode in regards to whether or not he's actually going to need to start tweeting or posting on Facebook again. Who knows? But the option is there now. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.